Hello and a very good morning to everyone. Welcome to the daily current affairs analysis of the Shankar IAS Academy. And today's video is for the date of 21st of May 2025. So these are the topics to be discussed. So the first three articles are from Prelims perspective. The first article, the nuclear energy sector, discusses about new amendments made, and this article is from the Indian Express. The next article discusses about the MGNREGA, and this article is from Hindu. And the third article discusses about the Jenu Kuruba tribes, and this article is from the Down to Earth. So the next two articles, that is the periodic labor force survey and the green revolution from the Hindu, and PLFS from the Indian Express, are two mains article and discusses about their mains perspective. So without any much further delay, let's get into the articles discussion one by one. In the nuclear energy push, the government is to allow private operators limit their liability. So here why it is, because there has been a move which follows US decision to let its firm make nuclear equipment and perform design work in India. So what is the recent development made is, in the nuclear energy sector, two laws are mainly pertaining. So first is the Atomic Energy Act of 1962. So for the nuclear energy, this act is one of the important act, as it allows only the state to make any decision. So accordingly to each state of the nuclear energy sector and to the nuclear plant, it is the state which has the higher authority. But now there has been few amendments. That is, now they are going to allow private partner participation in the decision making also. And the next act pertaining to the nuclear energy sector is the Civil Liability for Nuclear Disaster Act of 2010. So here through the act, here the suppliers of the nuclear energy sector would be given more punishments and liabilities if there has been a natural nuclear disaster happened. This is because in reference to the Bhopal gas tragedy, as here the supplier is one of the main cause for the tragedy. So here through this act, there will be higher liability to the supplier if there is any disasters been happening due to the nuclear development. And now through the new amendment, they are saying that they are going to limit the supplier's liability. That is, they are going to limit the supplier's punishments if there is any nuclear disaster. So here, as it is to align with the Convention on Supplementary Compensation, that is by the US. So these are the recent developments being made in the nuclear energy sector. So here the target is to have 100 gigawatts by 2047. So here in India it is currently 8.8 gigawatt, and this brings a massive scale up to meet the clean energy goals. So these amendments are in alignment with these goals, as to bring in a target and also to bring in a massive scale up to meet clean energy goals. So through the invention of private and foreign investments, there has been upgradation of up to 49% foreign equity. So many interest from different companies and many foreign players are interested for this move of amendment. And it also going to align with the nuclear energy mission, that is by 2033 the goal is to bring 5 indigenous small modular reactors. So there has been a video made on small modular reactors by our team itself, so don't forget to check the video. And here this is the budget for the nuclear energy mission. So what is the significance of this amendment? And in total, first is to boost the capacity, so it brings in faster construction and energy security, and involvement of foreign investment and technology, as it can align with the US based goals also. So here liability cap attracts the suppliers, and also restricting the suppliers liability can involve in more of participation. Next is to strengthen India and US ties, as I told before, and bringing strategic and civil nuclear cooperation, reduces public sector burden, as it is only the state which had ultimate decision before. So for example, the National Power Corporation of India Limited has the total burden or the total monopoly in the nuclear energy sector. So now it can be eased as there is private partnerships also. And next is having clean energy transitions. So here it supports net zero commitment by the year of 2070 goals. So I hope the article is clear. We are understanding the basics. Now move to the prelims practice question. Arrange the following nuclear power plants from north to south, and these are the options. So don't forget to put your option in the comment section. Moving on to the second news. This news is about the MGNREGA. So here a study by Liptech India revealed that while the coverage of MGNREGA has increased with 8.6 rise percentage in registered households under the program, the delivery of promised employment has actually gone down. So let's see the basics about the MGNREGA. So here we all know MGNREGA is abbreviated as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. So it is one of the most largest networked employment guarantee scheme, and it was enacted in 2005 and came into effect in 2006 as MGNREGA Act. So here now they are known as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act of 2025. So they emphasize the legal right to work, and so the objective is to provide 100 days of guaranteed wage employment annually to rural households. Looking into their coverage, all Indian districts are included except 100% of the urban areas. And they looking into their nature, they are demand driven and not allocation based. So they are mostly rights based act. So looking into the type of work, it includes unskilled manual labor and no contractors or machineries involved, and the wages are paid through directly via the direct benefit transfer. Looking into their timeline, the work must be provided within 15 days of demand, or the unemployment allowance would be given to the workers. Now looking into the implementation and funding, they come under the Ministry of Rural Development, and the implementing agency is the Gram Panchayats, as the most of the 50% of the implementation decisions is by the Gram Panchayat. So here looking into the wage material ratio, it is for 60:40 at the Gram Panchayat level. And looking into their fundings, the union territories would be having 100% central funding, and for the states it is 90:10, which is center state cost sharing. Now looking into the social inclusion and accountability, so here at least 1/3 of the beneficiaries should be women for sure, and there should be special focus on SC/STs communities and the differently abled persons. So looking into their social audits by Gram Sabhas, they are included for fund trafficking such as the MIS. Now looking into their current challenges, according to the India report of the financial year of 2024 to 25, now there has been a rise, that is 8.6% rise in the registered households, but 7.1% decline in the persons days. So only 7% of the households got full 100 days of work, and the average work days are a household fell up to 50 days gap. And these are the budget allocated, and there is regional disparities in the states itself. So sharp declines in Odisha, Tamil Nadu and Rajasthan. Reasons such as work delays, work deletion remain concerns. So this is the prelims practice question. I hope you are clear with the basics. Which of the statements are right? The scheme mandates at least 1/3 of the total beneficiaries must be women. The wage material ratio under MGNREGA is maintained in the 60:40 ratio at the national level. So which of the statement are right? Now moving on to the news here, the Jenu Kuruba Adivasis are to hold their Gram Sabha on May 20th, 2025. So here the communities have alleged violations of Forest Rights Act by the forest officials. So through the holding of Gram Sabha, they are asserting their forest rights under Forest Rights Act of 2006 in the Nagarhole Tiger Reserve. So brush upping on the basics, the Nagarhole Tiger Reserve is known as the Rajiv Gandhi National Park, and they are part of the Nilgiris Biosphere Reserve, which is part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So they are located in the Kodagu as well as in the Mysore districts of Karnataka, and also the southern belt of India. So here, after the alleged illegal evictions and fabricated court orders by the forest officials faced by the Jenu Kuruba, they are to hold their Gram Sabha to claim their rights on their ancestral lands. Now moving on to the origin and identity of Jenu Kuruba. Jenu Kuruba means honey collectors in Kannada, and also known as Ten Kuruba or Kattu Naikar, and they are located primarily in Kodagu and Mysuru district of Karnataka. They live in forest hamlets called the Haddi, and they are recognized as particularly vulnerable tribal group, that is the PVTG, by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs of Government of India. Now moving on to the habitat and livelihood, they are inhabiting in the forest belts of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So it is almost the southern part of India, and they are dependent on forest ecosystems for their livelihood, as there is interconnection of forest, as well as they are part of the larger tiger reserves, and they are engaged in occupations such as honey collection, tuber gatherings, as well as to produce minor forest products. So post eviction, they work in marginal occupations such as working in coffee plantations, as they face poverty and lack of services, as they are deprived of economic opportunities, and they lack of services such as healthcare, education and other public services. Now, looking into their social and political structure, they are known to have semi-nomadic lifestyle with a decentralized governance, so not centralized. And looking into their leadership roles, their headman is known as Yajamana, and their ritual chief is known as Gudda. As linking into their culture and belief system, ritually they follow animistic faith, that is worship of forest deities, nature spirits and ancestors, somewhat related to totemism also. And they are known to be an independent decision making community with their local members decisions. So they have minimal influence of mainstream political or religious system into their community. And looking into the culture and belief, again they are rich in oral traditions such as songs, myths and dances. So through this integration, they are also part of cultural integration with the Hindu festivals such as Holi, Diwali and Navratri. So these are the basics about the Jenu Kuruba tribe. So try to answer this question in the comment section. With reference to Jenu Kuruba tribe, consider the following statement. They are recognized as the PVTG in India. Their traditional livelihood primarily involves honey collection and forest produce harvesting. They follow a highly centralized political structure influenced by mainstream religious authorities. Now moving on to the mains article here titled Labour Force Survey as an update, it's a welcome one. So here they have made few key reforms. So looking into the background, first let us see the basics of the periodic labour force survey. It is a step towards the data driven labour governance. So here it was launched in 2017, replacing the quinquennial employment unemployment survey. So quinquennial is nothing but a survey which happens every 5 years later. So initially it provided annual data and quarterly updates for only urban areas, limiting timely policy responses. But in 2017, it was implemented under the National Statistics Office under the Ministry of Statistics and Policy Implementation. So the two main objective of this PLFS is to first provide labor force survey as well as employment status under short terms for only urban areas, and also under current weekly status. And the next objective is to provide employment as well as unemployment indicators for both urban as well as rural areas under usual status. So these are the two main objectives which was followed by the PLFS to provide us a holistic understanding about the labor force present, as well as the employment status, as well as the unemployment as well as employment indicators present, especially in a data driven governance. Now, what are the key reforms introduced? So, here there has been increased frequency introduced. So, monthly PLFS data introduced, which should be first released, which was in 2025 April. So, it enables real-time monitoring of labor market trends and quicker policy action in monthly wise. Next is enhanced sample design. So, here the sample size has been increased to more than 2.72 lakh households per round, and it ensures broader statistical reliability. So it ensures participation of every community members. Next is district level representation. So here district has been made the primary sampling unit in the research to enhance the local level data representation and planning. So here when it comes to rural as well as urban, there is importance for district level representation. So there is networking or streamlining of those particular sampling unit for data collecting. And next is calendar year alignment. So here there has been annual reporting shifted to January to December cycle, and it facilitates timely updates in global labor databases, for example International Labour Organization and also along with the World Bank cycle. So we can have timely updation. Now looking into the labor market insights, according to the report, here there are overall unemployment to almost 5.1 percentage, urban unemployment to 6.5 percentage in spite of cities evolving. The urban female unemployment, in spite of uh, these two numbers, it has been largely increased, that is 8.7 percentage. And there are different variations or different fields of women involved, so look into it. And the youth, that is 15 to 29 years unemployment in all India, it is 13.8 percentage, in urban especially in 17.2 percentage, and in urban females it is 23.7 percentage. So you can see how stellar the differences are, which is very bit disappointing. So here it indicates persistent youth joblessness as well as gender disparities in total. So now what is the significance of these new reforms and amendments made? It supports evidence-based policy making and improves trust in official statistics. So here the National Statistics Office can work on the gender disparities present and also the joblessness in different districts of different people. So it boosts India's image among global investors and aligns with aspirations for inclusive growth. So it aligns with the SDGs, so it aligns with many private partnerships, many startup companies for youths to reduce their joblessness. Looking into persistent challenges, there is high informal employment in spite of education, there is skill job mismatch in spite of skill development, and gender gaps remain in spite of participation from the younger age to older age. So here it requires integration with skilling, education and industrial policy making. So I hope the article is clear. This is the mains practice question. Timely and reliable labor market data is key to good policy making and economic planning. So here, in light of the recent changes made to the periodic labor force survey, discuss how improved labor data can address India's unemployment challenges. So here you can use these statements and the statistics being used in the framework. Also highlight the major issues that still affect the quality and usefulness of labor statistics India. So here you can bring in the framework that we used before, and also you can have your own statistics through the government initiatives made. So check the government initiatives which has been included for employment. So before the article we spoke about MGNREGA also. So this is one of the most important scheme which has been used for employment generation, especially in informal sector. So imagine the formal sector and their schemes to be improved to have their impact. So don't forget to attempt this question and put it in the comment section. So moving on to the last mains article, here we would be discussing about the green revolution. So the article here mainly discusses about the legacy of high yielding seeds which has been introduced during the green revolution, and it has been revisited as India's reflects on their impact on the food security especially, and the national pride as well as agricultural modernization. So at that moment it was in reference to the AI, as it brought in modern technology involvement as well as having focus on food security. So these seeds are symbol of progress, self-reliance for our country India, and the backbone in the spotlight and amid current debates on sustainable farming. So and seed sovereignty and the future of agricultural policy. So what is green revolution? It happened in the 1960s onwards. Here the purpose is to give food self-sufficiency, especially through wheat and rice. So here the key architect is M.S. Swaminathan for Green Revolution in India, and having foreign support from USA, Rockefeller and Ford Foundation. So the main important foundation of the Green Revolution is introduction of the high yield variety seeds. For example, Sonora 64, Lemma Roja. Here inputs were pesticides, fertilizers and irrigation technology as well as mechanization in the agriculture. And the focus area was largely areas of Punjab, Haryana and western Uttar Pradesh in India. Now, what are the importance of these seeds? So here, the high yield variety seeds increased yield significantly in the Green Revolution, enhancing the food security. So here there was shorter maturity and there were multiple cropping being involved for timely agricultural productions. And there is they were responsive to the inputs such as the fertilizers and irrigation method. So aligning with the fertilizers as well as with the irrigation methods, the high yield variety seeds were responsive to these inputs to bring in larger food production and agriculture, and they were disease resistant also for the health as well as growth of the crops and seeds. So they stood as a foundation for the food security. Now looking into the outcome, the food grain production were doubled, especially for the wheat. So it avoided famines, reduced the imports, and we had self reliance for the first time. Here it brought an economic boost in selected regions and flourished the economic outcome also. So here socially, regional, and there were income inequality as an con of the Green Revolution, because it brought in differences between the people who had income generation through the Green Revolution and who took in the modern infrastructures such as the fertilizers, pesticides, as well as the agriculture irrigation facilities and machineries, rather than farmers who use the traditional form of agriculture methods. So here it brought in social differences such as regional and income inequality, and it also brought in environmental damage such as the soil degradation due to the fertilizers as well as the pesticides use. Next is the water depletion and the biodiversity loss ultimately. So these were the challenges given when it came to the Green Revolution, that is the environmental degradation, regional imbalance, as only limited states were benefited, and even given that limited states, it was people, farmers who took in the new infrastructure advances were the one benefited. So there were crop differences in crop monoculture, as only wheat and rice were given focus, thus neglecting nutrition crops such as the pulses, millets were sidelined. So here farmer dependency were more on inputs as well as the subsidies. So these were the challenges and issues related to the Green Revolution. Now looking into a way forward, here sustainable farming was given importance through the Green Revolution. So there were importance of organic as well as eco-friendly crops. Then there was crop diversification given attention. For example, millets, pulses and oil seeds were given more focus for nutritional purposes also. So it also supported small farmers, for example, credit providing, tech providing, as well as for markets. And research and development investments were given major responses for fund involvement as well as climate resilient crops, especially for India, which is a monsoon fed country. And next is to integrate traditional knowledge with modern science. So here farmers who use traditional knowledge as well as the farmers who are into more of the modern science technologies, that brought an importance of integrating these two different knowledges for crop diversification as well as for agriculture production. So this brings in us a main understanding on the basics of the Green Revolution and their outcomes, issues, challenges associated. So this is a mains practice question. The Green Revolution marked a shift from traditional to modern farming with high yield seeds at its core. Analyze the social, economic and political implications of this transformation. So here right now you can use the framework, and also to enhance your answer you can use about different government initiatives being taken into account. For example, by Government of India, the scheme of Green Revolution Krishnonati Yojana scheme, where it is an umbrella scheme which is centrally sponsored, which comes under the Agriculture and Farmers Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, where they mostly focused on the Green Revolution. So here under this umbrella scheme there were 11 included schemes. So you can check the scheme and you can bring an enhancement to this answer. So thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you give a like, comment and a share, and to further not to miss any other content, subscribe to our channel. And thank you. Have a nice day.